very much for that lovely warm welcome, Matthew, and for those very kind words. It is wonderful to be here in Ballymena on what I would say would be a typical Northern Ireland weather day. And I'm delighted, of course, to be sharing a platform with someone who I have to say is the most steadfast, anti-protocol, pro-union leader of any party in Northern Ireland, and that's Jim Allister. And I'm also delighted to have with me Ben Habib, who will be speaking to you. Ben has done so much in Great Britain to really get the message across about what the protocol is doing, and he, of course, without him, and of course Jim, but Ben, who really started this whole legal action, we would not be where we are, and I'm really pleased. We've been going round. Now we've all been going round over the last year or so, doing various rallies in halls and outdoors like this, and I know that there are some people, unfortunately, in unionism who've implied that it's only creating division, it's making people feel angry. Well, you see, I think people are angry in the pro-union community. I think we're angry at the way Northern Ireland has been treated by our own government, but also particularly by the way that the Irish government and the European Union have colluded together to do what they could to set Northern Ireland apart from the rest of the United Kingdom. And when we've been going round these different rallies, there have been various elements of pro-union leaders and not other pro-union members on the platform. And you know, it's true, within unionism there is division. We all have different attitudes to how this happened, how it could have been allowed to happen, who did what, who did it when, why did they do it? But you know, there's something at this point in time that is more important, and that is, I think, not to reflect too much on just how we got here, but now we need to be reflecting on how we get out of here, and more importantly, we have to all put our country before our party. And I say that because next week we will be here on a Saturday and we will know the results of those elections on Friday. And I think never have there been as important elections, certainly in my lifetime, in Northern Ireland. We have to ensure that we end up with all pro-union candidates, anti-protocol pro-union candidates being able to be elected. And that will only happen if, first of all, everybody, particularly young people who are here, and many of them, thank you so much to all the bands and the wonderful parade, but young people who've perhaps never voted before and have said, oh, politics, I can't be bothered with it, they're all the same. This is an election where every young person, every middle-aged person, every old person like me, we all have to get out and we have to vote. That's to start with. Secondly, we have to ensure that we transfer our votes. And it may be that you're going to have to put your tick against someone who you really don't like, who you really don't think is good enough. But the reality is that if you don't put your transfers right down, we will end up with people that not only do you not like, but are people who actually do not care about Northern Ireland and don't want the future of the Union. Just say on the protocol, I think we all know how it's divided Northern Ireland from the rest of the United Kingdom. The principle of consent, which was so crucial, the principle of consent of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, which many of us voted for, really genuinely thinking this just might make a difference to peace in Northern Ireland. And now how betrayed we feel that the principle of consent has been overruled by our own government and by a European Union that used Northern Ireland to punish the rest of the United Kingdom. The price of Brexit, said people within the European Parliament, is going to be Northern Ireland. Well, we're not going to let that happen. And so the message goes out today to the Prime Minister And I know that they're beginning to think that they're going to have to change because things in Northern Ireland are so unstable. And there's nothing upsets the United Kingdom government more than to think that there's going to be instability. Now, none of us want that instability. None of us want to go back to the really dreadful days of violence. But we cannot have a situation where our government is ignoring the majority community in Northern Ireland and their wishes to not be separated out from the rest of the United Kingdom. The trade, the business issues are just ridiculous. We all know that. But for me, it's actually about the Constitution, the Act of Union. Because if we can have this change to our Constitution without anyone being asked, then it is very easy for other changes to come in the future. So we know the seriousness of the protocol. We know that it has to be defeated. We know that the only way the government's going to listen is for people to actually make their voice heard. And next week's election is absolutely crucial. So please go out, do your bit of duty for our country, and make sure that we return people who really want to fight for Northern Ireland's place in the United Kingdom. That's what I will continue to do, and thank you all so much for coming along today.